Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, everyone who watch this video. In this video, I will explain about radicalism and Islamic moderation education, which is an assignment given by lecturer Mujibur Rahman MSE as a lecturer in the Islamic moderation education course at Winsay Purwokerto. Okay, without going into length and breadth, let's go straight to the explanations. Let's go. Number 1. Point A. Definition of radicalism. Radicalism, according to the Big Indonesian Dictionary or Kamus Besar Bahasa Indonesia (KBBI), is an ideology or thought that wants social and political change or renewal by violent or drastic means, extreme attitudes in politics. Radicalism can also be interpreted as an understanding the wishes to make a change in an anarchic, violent, and revolutionary way. Radicalism is characterized by an intolerant attitude towards groups that are considered to be opposed to their group's understanding and goals. Point B. Indicators of a person or group of people exposed to radicalism. The indicators or signs that I have written are closely related to the behavior of a person or group of students, among others. The first, the child or someone likes to be alone without a clear reason and or exclusively with their own group, or it can be said with a circle. Second, it's very easy to justify something that is not necessarily true and feel that he is the most correct. So that makes it easy for them to forbid and disbelieve other people or other groups. Third, there is still a connection from the second point or the second sign that people who have an understanding of radicalism are usually people who are fanatics of a sect or understanding, so that they blame people or groups of people who do not agree or do not belong to the same stream. Fourth, usually people with indicators of understanding radicalism have ideals or goals such as jihad, which wants to establish an Islamic state, or which is essentially a religious state. With this, it can be seen that they want to make this country into a religious country that they profess or they believe in ways that can sometimes cause divisions between religious communities in a country and can even cause bloodshed, which of course becomes something that is not desired by all citizens of the country. A person who has this radical view can also be brave or even start to his teachers and parents, because people who are indicators of this radical understanding usually have a stubborn nature or are difficult to give advice that they think they do not agree with. Point C. Radical implications for religious and national life. The radical implications for national and religious life are the existence of groups that secretly or openly want to replace the basis of the Indonesian state. These actors carried out actions labeled as religion which created an attractive impression on ordinary people who did not understand politics, so as to make doctrine to ordinary people and marginalized people. Therefore, these actions can result in disruption of public order and can pit the people of the state of Indonesia against each other. Point D. The concept of a persuasive approach in dispelling radicalism. Wells. A persuasive approach in dealing with radicalism is an approach that is carried out by gently persuading without any coercion. For example, instilling the value of truth in religion which does not teach to divide and hurt other people, as well as tolerance between religious communities, working with other religions and behaving honestly and caring for people who have different beliefs from us. Point E. The concept of a repressive approach in dispelling radicalism. Webs. The repressive approach in with radicalism is an approach that is carried out through repressive acts of radicalism. For example, when the government socializes the importance of state life based on law. If anyone disagrees with the existing rules in Indonesia, then they are welcome to change citizenship with the country that is in accordance with the ideology. Then by enforcing the terrorism law to the full so that terrorism does not develop in Indonesia. And number two, Islamic has a moderate genealogy because Islam, which is indeed moderate, or what we know as moderate Islam, refers to those who reject violence as their ideological line and struggle. Genealogy of moderate Islam or Wasatiyah Islam has emerged and developed in three historical periods. The first, the Ta'sis period or the formation period. The second, Tatwir period or development period. And third, Tahdith period or modernization. In general, this reality is a necessity that is transformed into a historical legacy that is appropriate and worthy of being followed up by Muslims today. Number 3. Regulations regarding religious moderation Islam in Indonesia. There are several regulations or rules related to religious moderation in Indonesia. Among others, The first decree of the Minister of Religion number 92 of 2022 concerning the working group on strengthening the religious moderation program at the Ministry of Religion. The second presidential regulation number 18 of 2020 concerning RPJMN 2020 until 2024, one in Appendix 2, which contains priority programs for strengthening religious moderation, which aims to strengthen tolerance, harmony, and social harmony. It's the responsibility of the Ministry of Religion. The third decree of the Minister of Religion number 23 of 2022 concerning guidelines for implementing strengthening of religious moderation for civil servants of the Ministry of Religion. From several regulations related to religious moderation in Indonesia, it can be seen that Indonesia, especially from the Ministry of Religion, has tried to implement what is called religious moderation or Islamic moderation in Indonesia. Of the religious regulations mentioned above, there is also an implementation of these regulations, which has been listed in the 1945 Constitution of the Unitary State of the Republic of Indonesia, namely Article or Pasal 29 Paragraph 2 of the 1945 Constitution or UUD 1945 of the Republic of Indonesia, which reads the state guarantees freedom of each resident to embrace their own religion and to worship according to their religion and belief. From one of the articles or pasal in the 1945 Constitution or UUD 1945, of course there is a close relationship with religious moderation in Indonesia. The article explains that every citizen is free to choose his religion or belief. However, even though it has been stated in the article, sometimes there is still a person or group of people who seem to oppose the law. This is due to a lack of adequate understanding from a person or group of citizens and in understanding with what religious moderation is and also its urgency for a country, so that the presence of such a person or group makes it impossible to apply the concept of religious moderation in a country. Therefore, sometimes there are still debates or divisions that occur in this country, and the existence of this regulation should make us aware of how important religious moderate or Islamic moderation in Indonesia. And the last, number 4, the urgency of Islamic moderation education course. For me personally and from a journal, the urgency of the Islamic moderation education in PMI or Pendidikan Moderasi Islam course that I feel is something or material that is very important to be known by all citizens, because citizens who understand the importance of moderation or Islamic moderation will be able to make the country safer and peace so that there is no such thing as blues anymore. And for me personally, this Islamic moderation education course is something that I have to learn because why? Because especially me who is being prepared as a prospective educator in the future. It will be very important for me to study this subject so that later when I teach the students I am not mistaken in conveying this regarding moderation of Islam, because if wrong of course will have fatal consequences for these students where they are of course still in their learning period, still unstable, still very easily influenced by the things they have first see or hear, and are still in their teens, where sometimes students or children are still prioritizing his ego, feeling most like this, or sometimes also having a stubborn nature. Therefore, this Islamic moderation education course is very, very mandatory to be studied or understood seriously. The aim of Islamic moderation education is hoped the students will have a tolerant outlook in dealing with any difference in religion and belief, respect religious difference and be tolerant of diversity, and be fair in acting regardless of religious origins and groups. This is my explanation, of course, from the explanation that I described earlier. There are many shortcomings in essence. This radicalism is quite dangerous, but it can be mitigated. By this understanding of moderation education, or what we have learned, namely Islamic moderation education. Remember that perfection belongs only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, I have a lot of shortcomings, so forgive me. That's all from me, and before I close this video, I would like to thank the lecturer who has guided us for one semester. I hope there are many benefits that my friends and I can learn from what you have conveyed. Sorry profusely when there are many mistakes from me personally and my friends, both words and deeds. Close with Salat Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahul muwafiq ila aqwamit tariq. Thumma assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah.